Minnesota, beautiful state, cold as heck. They said, sir, it's -40. I said, still higher than Tim Walz's poll numbers. I'm here because billions have vanished, and nobody finds things better than me. Found Hillary's emails, found Atlantis. Very easy, actually. Just had to think, which I do very well. Now I'm finding Minnesota's stolen money.
Bottom line is, when Joe Biden got elected, he said he wanted to fast track 4 million undocumented residents to full citizenship. Black people completely ignored it. I spoke on it. I said, do you know why he want to fast track 4 million? Because he know he not going to do nothing for us. We ain't going to be motivated to vote for him November. So what he's going to do is have these migrants already set up with citizenship so they can replace the black vote that he loses. The migrants are being put in our communities on purpose, New York and Chicago on purpose, because they are what? The two blackest cities in America. They're the two largest cities in America. They're the two most politically conscious black communities in America. So if we can wash out the black with the brown in New York, if we can wash out the black with the brown in Chicago, Philly don't stand a chance. Atlanta don't stand a chance. LA, Houston, Dallas, Detroit, Chicago don't stand a chance. The migrants are here for 3 reasons. Replace us at the polls, replace us at the low-end industry jobs.
Right, Marie, we're talking about a $1 billion deficit for 2026, and the city's budget director warned that is an optimistic outlook for the future.
I'm standing here tonight with buyer's remorse because I supported Mayor Brandon Johnson. I feel like a fool right now. I feel like a plum fool.
Now to NBC5 investigates, which for months has followed the money trail tied to Chicago's migrant mission. Total spending now tops more than $400 million.
Without significant shifts in how we balance our budget, the services that the people of Chicago have begun to rely upon, they would certainly be in jeopardy.
So the mayor of Chicago spent $600 million of taxpayer money on illegal migrants. Now that bill has come due and he wants to raise taxes so he can cover his behind. Let's talk about it. All right, so this is the 57th mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson. Now, I don't have to tell you, Chicago is a Democrat stronghold, and he goes all in on Democrat policies. Like, this guy doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk. Now, Brandon Johnson took office during the migrant crisis. Now, for those of you with short memories, when Biden was president, he opened up the borders, allowing millions of people to cross the borders illegally.
Tonight, nearly 10,000 migrants a day. That is what federal officials say they are encountering at the U.S. southern border on average. In December, that's among the highest numbers ever recorded. And with multiple border entry points remaining closed as the surge at the southern border escalates, U.S. officials now warning that the situation is nearing a, quote, breaking point.
3 years ago, 689 Chinese migrants crossed the southern border. Last year, that number soared to over 37,000. Part of an explosion of migrants coming here from all over the globe.
Now, even though all of that was happening, Brandon Johnson was all in for the migrants.
We know the strength of a city is determined by how we treat the most vulnerable. And so we choose to be a strong city. We must reject a zero-sum formulation between investing in those who have been here for decades and supporting those who have been sit here on a bus even this morning. We can do both, Chicago, and we can all thrive together.
Now, what he's referring to is that the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, started shipping migrants to sanctuary cities, places that said they wanted more migrants, and Chicago was one of those places.
Local officials whose communities are being overwhelmed by hordes of illegal immigrants who are being dropped off by the Biden administration. Texas is providing charter buses to send these illegal immigrants who have been dropped off by the Biden administration to Washington, D.C. We are sending them to the United States Capitol, where the Biden administration will be able to more immediately address the needs of the people that they are allowing to come across our border.
Now, the same message was coming from other liberal states, like New York, where the governor essentially begged migrants to come to New York.
We want people to come here, despite where they came from or despite the circumstances that drove them to this country and to this state. We say you are welcome here. We are welcome with open arms, and we'll work to keep you safe. We'll not only house you, but we'll protect you. And the richness of the culture and the diversity and the food and the restaurants that we know are going to be coming because of these efforts are beyond measure. It's an extraordinary part of our story, and it's woven into the story of New York, and it makes us more vibrant.
Now, this virtue signaling was great for politics, and since almost no migrants were coming to New York and Chicago, but were all staying at the southern border, then they could call the Republicans racist, and they could deny that stricter border policy was necessary. There were no consequences. But the governors in those border states came up with a solution. If cities like Chicago and New York wanted illegal immigrants, then let's send them there. This was a win-win. Those cities get the migrants, and they also get the problem that come with those migrants. But now here's the rub. When all those migrants started showing up to these liberal sanctuary cities, all hell broke loose, and they started declaring states of emergency. How are we going to take care of all these people?
This morning, the mayor of Washington, D.C. has requested the help of the National Guard to assist with the buses of migrants arriving to her city.
Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey has declared a state of emergency to address the state's growing migrant crisis. The governor says there are over 20,000 people being temporarily housed across the state.
Our top story, another bus of migrants arrived today in Los Angeles and were taken to St. Anthony's Croatian Church for processing.
Back in New York, the mayor had a stark message this month.
I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City.
Increasingly, the migrant crisis is being felt far from the border, including cities like Chicago, where officials say resources are running thin.
Now, it's interesting that the liberals in these sanctuary cities turned this into a racism issue and said if you didn't want to take care of migrants, you were a racist. And Brandon Johnson went all in, spending up to $600 million in taxpayer money taking care of migrants.
The immigration crisis has strained city and state resources. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson defending spending taxpayer dollars on maintaining a welcoming city while being interrogated by the House Oversight Committee in Washington today.
You're the mayor of Chicago. Do you think that your residents or the residents of your state should be paying for that more than they should be paying for their own needs, their own roads, their own public safety?
The people of Chicago elected me as the 57th mayor of the city of Chicago, and we serve all the residents of the city of Chicago.
But that service comes with a cost. According to data obtained by the ABC 7i team, since September of 2022, the city has paid out $638.7 million in vendor contracts for new arrivals.
Mayor Johnson, in the last 4 years, how much has Chicago spent on care for illegal aliens?
So since 2022, since the governor of Texas was shipping individuals to cities across this country, the city's budget, roughly 1% of the city's budget over the course of 4 years.
That 1% comes out to about $625 million over the past 4 years.
So now the mayor of the city of Chicago has spent $600 million on illegal immigrants in Chicago. But that bill has come due, so it has to be paid for. Brandon Johnson said, hey, I'm a Democrat. I know what to do. We're going to raise property taxes. But there was a problem. He had promised all during the campaign that he would not raise property taxes.
It's about budgets because everywhere you've gone, you have failed. Look, I'm not going to raise property taxes. There is no income tax in my plan. He's being dishonest.
I won't raise your property taxes.
Then candidate for mayor, Brandon Johnson.
The people of Chicago want to know, will you raise a tax, whether it be a property tax or implement something else?
Well, it's interesting. No one has ever asked me if I'm going to raise a tax.
In January, we sat down and asked the mayor multiple times if he'd use a property tax increase to pay for the city's debts. At the time, one of the biggest concerns was paying for the migrant crisis.
So you can commit to you not raising property taxes, regardless of how bad the situation gets.
My budget, the $16.77 billion that I just passed, 41 alders, I believe, supported this budget. And we did all of that without raising property taxes. The evidence is in what I passed. We made all of these investments without raising property taxes.
So now, after spending $600 million on illegal immigrants, Brandon Johnson made a U-turn and said, I gotta raise property taxes by $300 million, essentially forcing the taxpayers to come out of pocket and pay for his generosity toward migrants.
Mayor Brandon Johnson was more than 40 minutes into his speech before he broke the bad news to homeowners across the city.
This budget currently includes a property tax increase of $300 million to fund and keep our commitment to fund not just our pension contributions, but to fund the future of our city.
Now, this was so unpopular in Chicago that the city council unanimously threw it out, and Brandon Johnson had to find another way.
But first, breaking news at City Hall. Mayor Brandon Johnson's property tax hike is rejected by City Council.
It is unanimous. Every single alderperson voted it down, the mayor's $300 million property tax proposal. They say they have plenty of ideas. Now Mayor Brandon Johnson is going to be forced to listen to them.
Then the mayor of Chicago decided, hey, you know what? Let's just take out a payday loan. High interest rate, but we need this money now because we got to continue to take care of migrants.
All right, so let's take a closer look at the main issue, the structure of the deal. It's $830 million in borrowed funds for things like construction projects, transportation, building maintenance, but it will cost taxpayers at least $2 billion when all is said and done. Under the original plan, the city would make interest-only payments starting in 2027. But the city wouldn't make any principal payments until 2045. That's 20 years from now, majorly inflating costs.
So the mayor says, hey, we're going to borrow $800 million now. We'll pay back $2 billion. And by the time you have to pay the money back, it'll be 20 years from now. And don't worry, I won't be around. So raising property taxes was rejected. The payday loan to close this budget gap was rejected. They did take a payday loan out, but just for infrastructure. They actually didn't take the one out to close the budget gap. So you still have this budget gap. So Mayor Johnson went to a tried and true argument that Democrats have been using for years. Tax the rich.
The city is grappling with a $1.1 billion budget shortfall, and Mayor Johnson says one of the ways he plans to close that gap is to target the ultra-rich.
It's historically have been balanced on the backs of black, brown, and working people in Chicago. And it is time as a city that we reject that form of budgeting and then begin to pursue what I believe is more of a righteous budget.
So $300 million in property taxes didn't work. He can't get the payday loan. So we're back to square one with the Democrats in office. Let's just tax the rich.
Baiting the 2026 budget. But there's a big sticking point, a tax on the biggest companies in Chicago.
I'm a hard no on the head tax, and I think yesterday's vote indicates that the majority of at least the Finance Committee feel the same way.
The corporate tax is in this budget. It will stay in this budget.
That was Mayor Brandon Johnson Monday after the Finance Committee rejected his revenue ideas.
And the mayor drawing the line, he's promised he would veto any budget that has an increase in grocery tax or property tax increase.
Now, the city council in Chicago said the mayor's crazy. He just wants to essentially kill jobs and his budget will destroy the city. So they passed what's known as the alternative budget. Here are the details.
Today's vote came during a rare Saturday session. The alternative $16.6 billion budget proposal championed by a group of aldermen relies heavily on an increase in the city's plastic bag tax, rideshare tax, and liquor sales tax, while adding video gaming and restaurants and advertising to light poles and city vehicles.
We take nothing for granted here. We're proud of the work of this coalition. And as I've stated many, many times, I don't believe that there's one member of council who wants to see a government shutdown.
The budget by the alders also proposes bringing in nearly $90 million from selling some debt owed to the city for unpaid fees and fines, a proposal the mayor and his supporters have called immoral. The administration says the alternate proposal will lead to a projected $163 million deficit in 2026.
Now, in a shocking twist of irony, the mayor was found to have owed thousands and thousands of dollars to the city because for some reason he just decided not to pay for his sewer and water bills.
From 2023, days before the election,
Here's what he owes: $3,357.04 in unpaid charges and almost 8 months of not paying the city. He finally did pay on February 13th, 2023, but only $91.08. According to Capitol Facts, he has a history of not paying his city bills. Since 2010, he racked up more than $6,601 in fines and penalties. On top of that, he still owes $1,044.58 for unpaid traffic tickets dating back to 2014 and 2015. We asked Johnson how he's responding.
We're on a payment plan, like a lot of families in the city of Chicago.
And to that person who might say, hey, if you haven't paid this bill, how can you oversee such a city like Chicago when it comes to billions and millions of dollars?
I've managed multi-billion-dollar budgets as a Cook County Commissioner. We pay our car note, we pay our mortgage, we pay for school supplies, and we're on a payment plan.
Now, the budget that was actually passed by the city council needed to be signed by the mayor, but the mayor didn't sign it, nor did he veto it. He just let it go into effect without a signature.
Hi, Mayor.
Hi.
So you're not signing the budget, you're not vetoing the budget. Why not sign it? You got 98% of what you wanted.
Well, because there are some elements of this budget that, quite frankly, I don't want to give a signal to the people of Chicago that I support what I believe is one of the most detrimental and immoral aspects of this budget.
Now, you need to understand where we're at right now. Essentially, Chicago raised taxes on the poor. They raised shopping bag taxes and Uber rides, and if you want booze or online gaming, they raised those taxes. And those taxes are going to disproportionately affect the poor people. People who are working paycheck to paycheck are going to have to pay more for shopping bags, for instance, where if you're millionaires, you don't have to. And those poor people are paying for Brandon Johnson's $600 million migrants, right? That's what they're covering. And the people of Chicago understand that. That's why Mayor Johnson has some of the worst poll numbers in the history of polls.
Mayor Brandon Johnson still has time to turn things around before the 2027 election, and this poll is an improvement from an earlier one in which his approval ratings were in the single digits. Nevertheless, political observers say the mayor appears to be in trouble. There is a cloud hanging over City Hall, and it could be called approval ratings. A new poll on the mayor's popularity by the University of Chicago Mansueto Institute for Urban Innovation shows that citywide, only 26% of residents approve of the way Johnson is handling the job of mayor, while 58% disapprove.
I think he misjudged the voter when he thought that he could coast on the promises that he made, that he could coast on his agenda. He has to deliver, and people are expecting that. And so far, the poll shows people are disappointed.
The poll shows Johnson's popularity is underwater with every age and income group. Even though he's made affordable housing a key focus, he is also struggling with voters of every race. Even his political base views him unfavorably by 4 percentage points.
So at the end of the day, it's the people of Chicago who are going to pay for Mayor Johnson's generosity. $600 million to migrants. But the question is, do you think they're going to vote him back in the office because he's running for re-election and he wants to be the mayor for another 4 years? If they do, good luck to them, because he has been a disaster.
I'm standing here tonight with buyer's remorse because I supported Mayor Brandon Johnson. I feel like a fool right now. I feel like a plum fool. But I tell you what, it's okay, because as I said last night, you can slap us in the face by ignoring us today, but we are punching you in the face by ignoring you at the polling places tomorrow.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now
Bottom line is, when Joe Biden got elected, he said he wanted to fast track 4 million undocumented residents to full citizenship. Black people completely ignored it. I spoke on it. I said, do you know why he want to fast track 4 million? Because he know he not going to do nothing for us. We ain't going to be motivated to vote for him November. So what he's going to do is have these migrants already set up with citizenship so they can replace the black vote that he loses. The migrants are being put in our communities on purpose, New York and Chicago on purpose, because they are what? The two blackest cities in America. They're the two largest cities in America. They're the two most politically conscious black communities in America. So if we can wash out the black with the brown in New York, if we can wash out the black with the brown in Chicago, Philly don't stand a chance. Atlanta don't stand a chance. LA, Houston, Dallas, Detroit, Chicago don't stand a chance. The migrants are here for 3 reasons. Replace us at the polls, replace us at the low-end industry jobs.
Trump do not sleep. He don't play by no rules. Say, will your president be awake at 3 o'clock in the morning to answer the phone if it rings? Shit, yeah, our president is up. Our president is a vampire. That motherfucker sent 23 tweets at 12:30. What the fuck is you talking about? That motherfucker is on it. Trump don't give a fuck. That motherfucker is on it, whatever the fuck it is. Every time he wake up, he just sign another piece of paper. Wait till they see this when they wake the fuck up, since they want to talk. We used to just being able to watch the news a little bit and then walk off. Not with Trump. Niggas is watching the news like it's the playoffs. Trump don't give a fuck. Trump don't follow nobody's rules. The president is supposed to be at the White House. Our president is wherever the fuck he wanna be.
When it's time to go, you can choose how. You can wait for enforcement, or you can leave on your terms. The CBP Home app lets you self-deport with dignity, directly and securely. Don't wait, decide how it ends.
Crying harder, crying harder. Trump is your president. Crying harder, crying harder. Trump is your president.
On the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" exclamation point, "Catch!" exclamation point.
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core.
Hey, let me shut down the city! We are at war!
We're in a war right now.
We are at war.
So you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
And that's why the gloves are off.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
And yes, there are many threats to democracy. We see it with these extreme candidates.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
You can only push people so far, and then they start to take matters into their own hands.
What the American public want is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight.
You know, this is literally call to arms.
The MAGA movement is a threat.
But Michelle says that, when they go low, we go high.
No. With all due respect, if they go low, we don't go high.
When they go low, we kick them.
We take them to the mud and choke them out.
And make sure that they stay down. And you know what? Kick them when they're down, because they deserve it.
Get up in the face of some Congress people.
We are going to be in your face. We are going to be on your...
We have to fight this in the streets.
We're going to fight it in the streets.
It's time to step out of your comfort zone and step out into the streets.
To our Republican colleagues, if you do not see the light, we will bring the fire. Resist! You and your little friend off of Twitter. Y'all about to find out.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
He's not going to have a third term.
he may not finish his term.
Yes, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. Just saying. There will be news sometime, just so you know, there will be news.
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. Most important thing is my faith in my life.
But if you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.